Part 1 Extended. The cabin smelled of pine resin and clean wool, a quiet, steady scent that wrapped around her like a borrowed coat. The mountain man, Caleb, had lit only one lamp, its soft glow trembling against the log walls. He stood near the door as if afraid his presence might take up too much space, while she remained at the edge of the bed, hands folded tightly in her lap. Her name was Eliza. She had learned, over many years, how to sit small even when the world insisted she was not. The journey up the mountain had been long, each step echoing with the voices she carried from town, laughter that followed her like stones thrown from behind. They had said no man would choose her unless he had no other choice. They had been right, she thought. Caleb lived where no one else wanted to, and she had been sent where no one else would take her. She kept her eyes on the floorboards, tracing the dark knots in the wood. Her dress, plain and mended too many times, rustled softly when she shifted. This was their first night as husband and wife, though the word wife still felt like a costume that didn't fit. Caleb cleared his throat. He was a large man, broad-shouldered and roughened by years of snow and solitude, yet his movements were careful, almost gentle. "You don't have to be afraid," he said, voice low, like wind moving through trees. "Nothing will happen you don't want." She nodded, though fear wasn't quite the right word. It was expectation that pressed on her chest, the expectation of disappointment, of being tolerated at best, endured at worst. "I know what they say," she murmured before she could stop herself. The words spilled out, thin and trembling. "About me, about why I'm here." Caleb was silent for a long moment. Then he crossed the room, not toward the bed, but to the small table where she had set her bag earlier. He picked up the scarf she had knitted on the journey, uneven stitches, but warm, and turned it over in his hands as if it were something precious. "They said things about me too," he replied. "That I was too rough. Too strange. That no woman would ever choose a life this high and this hard." Eliza finally looked up. Their eyes met, and she was startled by what she saw there. Not pity, not hunger, but a steady certainty that made her breath catch. "I chose you," he said simply. Then, softer, as if the truth itself might break if spoken too loudly, "No man will ever love you like I do." The words landed not as a claim, but as a promise. She felt something loosen inside her, a knot she hadn't known how to untie. He sat on the chair by the hearth instead of beside her, giving her space, honoring the distance she still needed. Outside, the mountain wind pressed against the cabin, but inside there was only warmth and the quiet crackle of firewood. For the first time in her life, Eliza wondered, just barely, what it might feel like to be seen not as a burden, but as someone worth waiting for.